Hey, what's up, y'all? This is kind of a hard video to make. I've made this video a couple of different times, and it's always been really hard to go ahead and post it, but I want to go ahead and do this because I want this to be used as an example of people being able to feel more comfortable and know that they're not alone through some of the things that they've had to deal with. I did not have a fun childhood growing up. A lot of people didn't. It doesn't make you special. You have to be really careful about not letting your trauma define you as a person, but that doesn't make it not exist. But like, I saw my first person die of an overdose when I was like 12, and I have the vivid memory and the sound of my mother screaming, like glued audio in my head, clanging around from time to time. PTSD really, really sucks. And I know some people like to throw that word around, and I know some people think that PTSD only belongs to like people that have seen the horrors of war and stuff like that, but I don't think that's necessarily the way that the human brain works. And trauma is trauma, and it was not fun dealing with that. And that was just one of many, many, many things that I had to deal with. But the thing that was really, really the hardest was, so I'm gonna have to leave out some details here, but when I was about 12-ish or 13, one of my mom's boyfriend's cousins, really troubled cousins, who was like 16 or 17, came into town and stayed with us. And this kid was a violent monster that was twice my size, and he was testing the waters by beating me up all the time. And one night he beat me up, and he beat me up until he got me so passive that he made me do things to him, if you catch my drift. And it was so humiliating and confusing and painful, and I will never, ever, ever forget it. And it made me have issues with my sexuality. It made me have issues with my gender. It made me have forever trust issues. It made me full of so much hatred and defined me for so long. But I realized that there's just I had to come to a realization that I had to be able to process this and move past it, and unfortunately use it as a reference point for trauma. And it's never really gonna go away, but I know that if I can overcome that and be not let that destroy me mentally, it made me so powerful. It's one of the things that led me to strength and strength training, is that made me feel so weak and so unmasculine that sorry, I don't show emotion because I'm super cool, but it was really hard. It was really hard, and it took me until I was about 30 to deal with that, and it led me to drinking and drug use, and that cost me my family at the time, and it was really hard coming back from all this, but I was able to do it. And now I'm in the best mental spot, physical spot, workplace spot, financial spot that I've ever been in my entire life, because I stopped letting my trauma control me. So I just wanted to talk about this because there's a lot of people out there that are letting things understandably stop their productivity and slow them down and haunt them. And like I said, the trauma is never really gonna go away, but every day, if you're diligent, you learn more tools in your tool belt to deal with it. You become more functional. I am now very comfortable with my with everything. But it took a long, long time, and took a lot of struggle. And there were times when it made me give up, and I gave up to drugs and alcohol, and I was ready to no longer be alive. But if I could reel myself in, like, look, I'm permanently, it's all over my whole body. I'm permanently disfigured from my PTSD. But you know, you have to, it's something that people focus in on all the time, and they think I'm a weirdo creep because I've got all these scars from obvious self-harm. But I'm able to leave all that. I'm able to understand where people are coming from. I'm not worried about what they think anymore, because I know how strong I am mentally. I know how reliable I am now. I know a lot, and no trauma can take that away from me. So I just wanted to talk about this because it's really hard to talk about, and there's some people out there that are completely unable to talk about this stuff, and I hope that this makes it a little bit easier for you to think about how to get outside the cycle of trauma. And if my goofy goober ass can do it, I know you can. Thank y'all for watching. This was a very hard one.